how will you convince somebody to invest hundreds of crores on what you think is right? I quit my job just before marriage and or just after marriage, I'm not sure. And I had only 200 rupees in my bank, and I walked into, I called her and I said, listen, I just quit my job. I just have 200 rupees and I'm going to have a good coffee with you and a cake, pastry. And I spent 150 rupees that day. He wants an office, let's say, in 2 months. Yeah. He knows the construction time is 3 months. First heard about it, I said, I've seen a lot of these houses. They all look shit. Or they all look like a, factory made house. Think work from home, I think it's a crap. See, eventually we'll all lose our business. We spent 6 crores in building the building, and he spent 120 crores for the interiors. Vastu principles are entrance, kitchen, bedrooms. How these are 4-5 areas.
Hi all, welcome to the Strategic Pulse. I'm your host Darshan Praveen. Today we have Mr. Narayan as our speaker. He is the co-founder and CEO of architect Narayan and Associates, known for not just creating beautiful designs but also practical and sustainable ones. In this episode, we will deep dive into his journey, practical insights on the architectural industry, what the future holds, and how one can go about starting their own architectural firm. Stay tuned and watch the entire episode. Thank you. Hi Narayan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for calling me, and it's my pleasure coming and talking to you. And it's been quite some time that I've not spoken about my journey. Yeah, so I think it'll be a great topics to discuss.
Yeah. So your journey, like you said, is pretty inspiring. What inspired you to start your own architectural firm?
When I started, when I thought about being an architect, I was probably, it was not me really speaking, it was my dad. He used to be in the field of construction, and he used to head, and he used to build hotels, probably the best 10 hotels in India he's been part of building those hotels. So and then he used to tell me, there is one man who's always above me, yeah, and who'll always, where I just can't argue anything with him, because it is about an engineering arguing with an artist, and nothing gets into an artist's mind. Yeah, so it's about how stubborn the artist is to stick on to his ideas, and that is what he said is very inspiring to see, that if you could walk into the architecture and be an engineer by profession, but then really speaking, think about being an artist as a creative product. Yeah. So all about architecture is about being an artist first, and then figure it out how engineering can work. And there are other people who will figure it out. It's not your problem. So that's quite what I thought is inspiring to do, and to be part of being a part of the architectural community.
So did you begin your career immediately after your formal education into architecture, or did you eventually work somewhere else and then?
No, in fact, I would rather say this, that you should really never begin your career on your own, because there's a lot of things you'll have to learn. The learning is too long in terms of understanding the field. When I was an architect, when I started coming into the field, and when I used to meet my clients used to be the same age of experience that my age used to be. That means if I was like 26, so my client used to be 40 years in the field. Now, how do you convince your client to take your ideas when his experience is for more than your age. Yeah. So it used to be a challenge, and I will not say it is be easy. It is about how will you convince somebody to invest hundreds of crores on what you think is right. Yeah. So architecture is all about, how do you sell your ideas right? How do you resonate with your client? How do you resonate with your audience? How do you resonate with your or with the people who buy homes at your in your apartment? So how do you combine all that and then be there? So your question is, have you started? I said no. You should really work for somebody, learn the tricks of the industry. Architecture is a 5-year course. It's one of the longer course, probably little less than MBBS. Yeah. But then once you come out of the course, you still are in the first step of what the industry does. You really don't know, when you walk into if to your client, to sell your ideas, you'll have to learn how the industry functions. And I was fortunate to work with some of the best leading architects of this country at those time. So I used to work in Delhi for some time, and I used to Stein Doshi Bhalla was, I was part and parcel of his this thing. And Stein used to be a pioneer in terms of architect, or he used to be a name for himself. I learned from him. Then I came to Bombay. Then I started working with another very senior architect, very known architect. With him, I worked there as a senior designer, as an associate, etc. So it was a journey that you should really put yourself to. I would rather say people who are pursuing in this field, they should work, know the industry, because it's a difficult industry. It's a demanding industry. You'll have to put a lot of effort. You'll have to know how things work, what people talk about. Otherwise, if you do everything on your own, it's always you are burning your bridge, and then how much you can construct your bridge back, etc. So it's always better to work for somebody.
So, at what age did you start your own firm, and what challenges did you face when you were starting out?
When I started working, I was probably in my early 20s. That's what I started my this thing. 8-9 years I worked. So probably in my early 30s is what I thought is I should, I always thought that 5-6 years of working will give me a really good hold in this, understanding the whole field. So it took me around almost 9 years to, just venture out. So I was early in my 30s. So I still remember Isha whom I'm married to. She was working with me, and I quit my job just before marriage, and or just after marriage. I'm not sure. And I had only 200 rupees in my bank, And I walked into, I called her and I said, listen, I just quit my job. I just have 200 rupees and I'm going to have a good coffee with you and a cake, pastry. And I spent 150 rupees that day. Yeah. So, never shy away. Yeah. So, life is worth taking a risk. Unless you do that, there's nothing else but risk all throughout your life. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty inspiring. 200 rupees. Wow. So, like you said, you work with your wife. So, I believe you both of you are co-founders.
Yeah, that's right.
So, how do you divide your roles?
Well, dividing rules is, we just have different projects. We have different fields actually. Yeah. She looks after a lot of these residential segments. I look at larger projects, which is mass housing, hotels, hospitals. We do a lot of larger corporates, etc. So we have a whole lot of segments. So all the larger projects, I looked after it. It's more engineering once it's past the design stage. So that's how we divide it. So, there's always and you should always divide in, being husband, wife, we should really, have a clear division of work rather than, getting to know what each other is doing. It's better that you do your projects, I do my projects. Yeah.
But what do you think are the advantages of working with a family member?
Well, I don't know what is the disadvantages, really speaking. So if you can't know what's a disadvantage, you don't know what's the advantage. Yeah. So really speaking, I do see there are always challenges because you're always on work. There's nothing that is, you come home, it's, you talk about work. You get up, you talk about work. So there's nothing like there is a disadvantage, I would say, that work is always there, part and parcel of the conversation that you have. But then the advantage is that over the time you realize that each other's limitations, and then knowing each other's creativity. A lot of my projects, my wife is very good in terms of colors and fabrics and textures and all that. So I let her uh, take all that of my projects and then tell her that you select what you like. I think you're more better in those things. I'm more engineering in terms of, I know how things can work. So you just put up an idea. I know how things can look good in that way. So I divide those part of the. She lets me a lot of do those things with my projects or with her projects.
So, like you said, you left your job just around your marriage and then you started. How did you go about getting your first few clients?
There are clients everywhere. It's just that frankly speaking, for everybody, it's not about architects. I'm saying every field. You know, there are, business is about solving others' problem. That's what is business is. Yeah. So solving others' problem at a profit. World over, that's the definition. That means let me put it, what is Swiggy doing? He's solving a problem at a price. Yeah. What is, let's say, Book My Show doing? It's solving a problem at a price. Yeah. So that's true with universally, I would say true to most businesses. So the better you're able to solve, the higher the price you can get. Yeah. Somebody who's able to perform better is by solving the problem better, is the price he can get better. Yeah. That's the way I would rather see it as. Yeah. So if I'm able to, let's say, if I'm able to design a hotel, which is really, what does my client want? Let's say he wants a hotel. Yeah. If I'm able to design a hotel more efficient, much better looking, universal appeal, and caters to the market, I'm solved his problem. I've solved his 80% problem. So he can, probably, when he realizes this, he knows that, oh yes, he's able to do a better job. I don't mind paying a better fee. Yeah. So that's what it is in this world, So really speaking, you'll have to solve the problems better and realize where the problem is and then find a fix to it. That what is the business is.
But say somebody who just starting out and they worked under some other architect for a few years, gained some experience, and they decide to start their own firm. So how should they go about getting their first few clients?
You can find. See, it's about. Let's say there are different clients everywhere. Let's say if it's a residential, if he's focused on a residential apartment, the best thing to do is go to a new building. Yeah. find out who bought a lot of, who are the buyers, and send up pamphlets to them. Like a small pamphlets, you can just send it to them. 100 pamphlets that you can send, you'll probably find two guys who will be interested to talk to you, and you'll be able to get one guy whom you can able to convince to hire you. Now look at the other way. The guy who's more successful, he sends the pamphlet to 100 guy, can convince 10 to hire him, but he will only do work for 5, because he knows that is what, they are the one who are capable for my creativity and time. Yeah. So that's how you become, so you learn this game over a period of time, and then I'm sure, these journeys are easier when you get better into it.
And how does one go scaling about their firm, and how did you scale personally?
See, scaling is about the volume. Frankly speaking, the number one quality of scaling is that you don't do everything yourself. Yeah, only do what you should be doing. That's what I would tell all entrepreneur. All right. The problem with all these initial this thing is that they tend to do everything themselves, and you can't be good in everything. Let's say, what does an organization needs? An organization needs a sales, a marketing. It needs an finance is one part. Then you need is creative. Your architect is creative, and then you need a you also need is a lawyer in it. You need a finance, and you have CA. There probably is 8-9 things. So when you do all this together, it's very difficult. You will mess up. You're not good in all that. Correct. So you're only good at what you're only good at. Let's say if there's some people who are very good in for an architect they're good in generally to design, etc. The rest of the things they have to figure it out how they can outsource or how they can hire a talent. And in today's time, a lot of people are working from home. Just hire people who can do your work and within your budget. So you will be able to fix all these to a large extent, and then you concentrate on what you're good at. Yeah. So that's what it really means. Be good at and only concentrate what you're good at, or you only work on what you're good at.
How much does it typically cost to set up an architectural firm, and what are the various costs involved?
Architectural, for a setup a firm is nothing. It's just zero cost. What cost? It's just zero cost. Yeah. What is the cost for a doctor to set up? It's zero cost. Yeah. So when I say zero cost means, if a doctor wants to set up, he say, okay, I want a clinic, etc. and all that. Those also can be managed. They can, they can have their own clinic. They can be part of the hospitals. They can be part of this thing. It's similar to all of the even. It's very similar to those kind of professions. There are so many architects that I know who are good and they're working from home. So what cost they have? Today we have an office. We have more than 100 people working. So when you have a larger this thing, you need an office. You'll have to function. You'll have to have a HR. You'll have to have an admin. You'll have to have all these. All right. So for a smaller firm, there's nothing. That's how you scale up. You become. You get 2 people, then you get 4, you get 8, you get 15. So that's how you should scale up.
Can you walk us through your design philosophy? What is your creative process like when you take up a new project?
See, this is very generic to say. It's not you can't have a single philosophy and then work on all projects. So that really doesn't work as such. So what works is, and what is tomorrow's concern is what you should focus on. Yeah. So your biggest concern that I have today is, what will my child breathe tomorrow? You know, how good am I going to leave the world behind for my children's and grandchildren's to see? This is such a fast moving uh, world. It is impossible to see. You will see that. I'll tell you, I'll give you a small background about how this evolution has become. And the last 200 years, you see, if you say the last, let's say early 90s, every 25 years is equivalent to hundreds of years of earlier this thing. What you see the change in the last 10 years, we've not seen the pace of change in the last hundreds of years. Yeah. What is the change that my children will see in just few years, we would have not seen in so many years? So that's the changing aspects of this world. The technology and the innovation have changed. Yeah, who knows tomorrow? This AI is new today. In the last few years, yeah, who knows what the AI is going to give you? So the idea is, how do you? So what's this? Your question was, how do you? What's your philosophy of design? Your philosophy of design of mine is how. What is the legacy that is going to be kept today? If I tell you, if all the houses, yeah, is designed for today, yeah, you will have 1000% of access energy. Yeah. If small example is, if all the vehicles are EV, imagine the pollution reduction. Yeah. So equally, if all your houses today, we go back home, and today in the last, let's say 15 years, we have this 5-star rating, and all that is because of the energy rating, etc. Yeah. If everybody has this, imagine your consumption of electricity or the consumption of energy, you will save 400-500%. Yeah. So only because the technology have changed, adaptation to technology is difficult. It's expensive. It's time consuming. So that adaptation is slower. Yeah. But then this adaptation is better. So when I design, we look at is efficiency of energy, sustainability, and how well we leave the legacy behind for the future is what is going to determine tomorrow. Yeah. Today we buy a bottle of water for 20 rupees. There'll be time you will buy the same water for 2000. Is only because the access to the water will be these are commodities. So access will be limited, demand will be higher, so the price will be higher. Yeah.
What's a common misconception people have about running an architectural firm?
Well, the most common misconception is that the people who are architects is easy life. Yeah. There's nothing more contrary to that. Yeah. It's very difficult. It's very yes, I know that times have changed, people's attitude have changed. Yeah. Similarly, an architect, if you tell in, let's say in US or Europe, that I don't like the design, I want it to change, it's a big price they have to pay. Yeah. So we are still in that the subcontinent where the architect is expected to reproduce different ideas many times without being paid for the amount of effort that he's been put. Yes, I've seen in last 15, 20 years that things have changed, because we've been also, we tell them that you want a change like this, it's a cost to you. Yeah. So it's they've realized that, a time is a cost. What does it we do? What does a doctor do? What does a lawyer do? It's the time they spend is the cost. It is implication to whoever wants the service. Yeah. Similarly, so we feel that this is what is something should happen sooner or later.
That's nicely said. How do you balance your artistic creativity with business profitability?
You know, frankly speaking, creativity is a byproduct. Yeah. I would say it's the other way around. Yeah. If you are creative, your business is a byproduct. Yeah. However, everything around your business is about business. All right. So creativity is a cost. Let's say, I'll give you a small example. Okay. You want to buy a house, and you want your living room to have the best sofa, very creative design, where it's so creative that anybody just walks into your house, looks at that sofa and says, wow, this is beautiful. That wow is a cost. Yeah. So wow, a lot of people may disagree with me, say, oh no, creativity is about controlling cost and then you still can create wow. But I think it is not that true. So that wow is a cost that you can get the best sofa, the best texture, the best feel, the best clothing, and the best design and the best stitches. Yeah. So that is a cost. Somebody is spent a lot of time creating that kind of design to that furniture, where you want to just buy it and keep it in your home. Yeah. So creativity is a cost. The better the cost, the more. I'm not saying the most expensive always there. It's not true. But then you'll have to pay the price of having a creative thing in your house or in your office or in your hotel or in your hospital.
Did you have to unlearn something from your formal architectural education background to run your architectural firm successfully?
You have to unlearn everything. Frankly speaking, when I started working, I realized that what have I learned? This is not what I've learned, and this is not how the world works. The world works differently than what I have learned. Yeah, so it's I still feel that education only gives you direction. Yeah, it channelizes you to go in a particular direction. Yeah, but what you've learned is nothing, because when I started working post, let's say, 2 years, I look back and say, okay, what have I learned in the 2 years, and what did I learn earlier? Then I realized there's a lot of things you really learned has not, you just can't implement. You just have to be more and more learning every time, and time has changed so much. So you learn every day. Yeah. So what I do is I go to office. I spend 3 hours on just studying every day. No phone calls. My people in the office knows that they have to, not come to me in that first 3 hours. Yeah. Sometimes it is 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours, because 3 hours always to be is difficult. So if you can learn every day, even 1 hour, so 1 hour is dedicated to learn what's new. So imagine in a year, we are talking about, let's say, 250, 260 days you're working. It's 260 hours of new thing every single day that you learn. So it becomes a habit. Yeah. So you become good. Let's say a doctor. Yeah. What does doctor do? He goes, looks at the patients. Oh, you have to treat this. You have to treat. Now, what if he gives that at least 1 hour a day to learn what's there new, what is done differently in my own field? Let's say heart surgeon. He says, what is there new every day? What he's done? Who's done that? What's different? What's the whole thing? Imagine in 3 years where he'll be. Yeah, it's true to all fields. Not about doctors or this or etc. It's true about all fields. He can be a chartered accountant. Learn every day. Give that time to yourself. Yeah, and that aim is to learn. Imagine the volume of the learning will give you. It is compounding. Yeah.
What's the most difficult part about handling your clients in terms of budgets, deadlines?
It is you can't say the most difficult. The problem here is everything is needed yesterday in this country. Yeah. Yeah, everybody needs everything yesterday. Yeah. All right. So I keep telling people that, you have to know that the time it takes to do certain things, you have to give it. The problem here is magnitude. It's not with one. It's not with, let's say, Indian entrepreneur. It's not with MNC. It's the same everywhere. Everybody needs everything yesterday. Yeah. They always, let's say, I'm talking about a office that we're doing. He wants an office, let's say, in 2 months. Yeah. He knows the construction time is 3 months. Yeah. He knows that the time that he takes to, let's say, he has to lease an office or buy an office, that itself is 2 months. So he skipped everything in his life. Yeah. Now he's now left with nothing to do. He said, oh no, I need it in 2 months. That's it. Now whose pressure is it? It's, yeah. So he said, I want it. I don't know how you do it. I just want it. Yeah. So it's still that it's still that phase of maddening thing which are going. Yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah, in this chaotic world.
So, what are the different revenue streams for an architectural firm besides design services?
See, revenue, there is unlimited. If you put up, there is unlimited revenue that you can get being an architect. You can even find a product that really sells well. There is I know of an architect. He specializes doing painting sculptures. He does that. He's an architect. He does stage design. Then he's a theater. So all these are relative field as such, if you see. So all these are part and parcel of that similar creativity field that you have. I have a friend of mine. He does is what he does is he's interested in this new technology in construction. Yeah. And what he does is he's a successful practicing architect, and he gets this technology to India, wherever in the world it is. Yeah. And how we can adapt this technology here. Now look at what he's got. He's got an audience. He's got a client for himself. He can design for it. He can, partner with them. Yeah. I still remember we doing few projects in South Africa. I still remember I met a guy in South Africa. He makes these houses, small houses, So I was partnered with him to do it in India. I'll give you a very interesting this thing. You want to do a outhouse. Let's say you want to do a villa. All right. You want to build your own villa. All right. In India. It will take you 2 years to build it. Everything will take you 2 years to build it. Yeah. What is the problem that you first face? One is, okay, you got a land which is, I'm not even getting those. You get, let's say you got a land, then you'll have to, let's say, hire a architect. You have to hire a contractor. And the contractor will come up with, he'll put the concrete and then cement and reti, and the contractor has his own problem. Labor is a shortage, जो गाँव गया labor, and आज होली है, कल दिवाली है, कल परसों ये है. These are the problems he also face. Okay, so for him to build a house, let's say if he's a very good contractor, it's 13-14 months he can finish his, let's say 5,000 square foot of villa. Yeah. So I partnered with this company who could build a villa and make it stand in 1.5 months. Yeah. All right. It's said and easier. It's not that easy to do this thing. Now you're building this villa somewhere else in a factory. So if it's built in a factory, you're controlling the quality. So you just come, fix everything up, slide everything into this room, put a flat slab, or just put a metal slab, and then put a core and a little bit of concrete. So everything that you can build is factory made is 1.5 months, shipped to your site and installed in 4 days. All right. So I said, okay, I've seen a lot of these houses. When I first heard about it, I said, I've seen a lot of these houses. They all look shit. All right. They all look like a, factory made house. So and he called me to South Africa. He said, you should come and have a look at it. And he roamed around all the South Africa. We went and he showed me everything. He said, you tell me which is my house. I said, none of them look your house. This is because yours is a factory made. I couldn't believe those are the best possible villas I've seen. So that means you can make the best possible villa in less than... Today, imagine if you have to build your house, I can build it to you in 3 months. Installed, excluding the interiors. Yeah. Installed everything in 3 months. What is the value I've created for you? Time is a money. Yeah. So I've already, let's say inflation all said and done is 7%. Yeah, is an interest cost, etc. 24 months, how much have I saved? How much have I, this thing? So imagine if I could volume this out. What is the change the entire Indian market could change? So you as a, home buyer will come to my office. I'll give you 10 types of houses that can fit to you. I can even give you custom made fits to you. The only thing is you'll have to be it has to be a modular. That means 1 meter wall and something like that. Yeah. Or you can go half a meter plus minus this thing. I can just, you choose the design you want. I'll build it to you in 3 months and installed. Yeah. So imagine what you can do. Why an architect should not be able to just do this and build it. Somehow it's too expensive. We did few projects together. Yeah. But still, India is little behind to have these technologies back.
What are the key factors an aspiring architect should consider before entering this industry?
Key factor is, it is, if you, only when you want to work hard, you can enter this place. When I say work hard is putting long hours, 12 hours, 11 hours a day, you're working, forget about Saturday, forget about Sundays, these are the things. Okay, in later part of life, I've said, I just can't do much, I can't work. But then, yeah, you'll have to work, without, there's no, but that's true to all industries. So it's true to all, things. You'll have to really work hard to to sustain yourself. It's like doctor, you're needed everywhere. They want to talk to you only, how much ever best you can keep your guys there. They'll still want, client wants to meet you. So it's like a doctor, the patient only wants to meet that doctor. He may have a 10 teams. Yeah. So that's true to architects too.
Like you said, the efficient ones can be made in say 3 months in your expertise. But what's the average length a project takes in other cases?
These are very generic term, I cannot, every project has its own terms. See, a hotel of a 100-bed hotel is a 3-year project. Yeah. Start to finish is 3 years. Let's say a 200 apartments of mine takes 3-4 years. Keeping in mind that everything is in place, in right place, approvals are there's no government issues, there is no land issues, there's no other issues which are there. All that if is in place, it just takes 2 or 3 years to make it. Similarly, let's say I'm doing an office, it's 2.5 months. We just have to build it and give it to them. Then you have villas which takes, let's say, 1.5 years, 2 years. So different projects has a different, scale of this thing. I'm still doing a project that I was doing. It's 10 years. I'm still working on the project. It's an infrastructure project. We were doing a terminal for one of the ports we're doing. So it's a large project. It just doesn't end. It's just keep on. 10 years, we're still working.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also said like there might be some government issues, there might be some corruption as well, which I would like to believe. So how does one go about tackling such issues?
These are part and parcel of any businesses. There are various issues. I think things have gone better than earlier. More transparency have come in place. More, I would say, accountability has come in place. So I think, I would see it reducing year by year, day by day. Yeah. You'll have to, but it's still there. We still see it in some places, but it's still there. We have to tackle it.
And how does the climate impact the architectural choices and the materials used?
In fact, it's all about when you're building a design, you are building a design for somebody, keeping in mind the climate as a base of your design. Yeah. So that means the way you design it has to be based on the climate. Then only it is an efficient design. Yeah. So you cannot exclude your surroundings and then design. Yeah. So let's say when you design, let's say a high-rise building, when we design a high-rise building, the west is very hot. So you'll have to keep your west as much as sheltered, in a building. So it's a completely harmonious to it. Yeah, we've seen as today's metros doesn't have that kind of this thing, but you will have to eventually do it. It is done most places.
And how has pandemic changed the way people design their homes and offices?
See, pandemic has had a quantum shift in terms of people's attitude. Yeah. The first is we've seen as a bunch of people who just doesn't want to enter an office. Yeah. So once this whole thing work from home, I think it's a crap. All right. Okay. And work from home culture, they spoiled their work culture at home. They spoiled their home culture also because they don't know they're working, or they don't know they're working, or they don't know they're at home. So that whole thing has really spoiled them. Secondly, every company which has this culture work from home, all right, eventually have seen that their output has affected. How much ever people say, there are some companies that say, oh, I don't care how much you work, You are at home. I know so many people of friends of mine who are working from home. I know people working from this building. Yeah. I meet them at 11 o'clock at night. They're saying, sorry, we have a call and I'm not available till 1 o'clock. Now imagine if this is the way it is going to happen. Their whole, house culture has changed. There is no time to switch off. All right. Now this has not given a productive output to the company itself. So it's not that both have benefited, etc. This is not given. How much ever people said whatever. I know we design for so many corporates, and the first thing that people say is that this does not work for us. We want people to come back. Yeah. So it's still that they are still in that mix of it where it's working and it's not working. So they're in between. They know a little bit of working it is happening. Let's chodo ya chodo. We'll see how it is. That's how it is.
But when you say you're designing a newer home now, would you incorporate like a office cubicle types in their house?
See, the reason, not an office cubicle. I need surely when I'm making my house, I want a space for my office. There are times that I am not in office. Yeah. There are times I'm not able to go to office. Yeah. I should be able to work wherever I am. So that's for sure. If you have that luxury of your house where you can make a small office or a small room as an office, why not? That's there. But I still, I still have that cut-off mode when I come home. I want to spend time with my family and then, not have that office thing really taking that time. So people who have this work from home culture, they are not able to give time to their family. They can probably say whatever they want to. They say, no, we are spending all the time. Your physical presence in the house does not mean time spent with them. Yeah. Your times spent with them is your mental presence there. Yeah. So that differentiate people do not understand. Yeah.
So, what trends are shaping this industry and what does the future hold?
See, the trend is surely different. I don't know. It's very generic statement. So I'll not see. Real estate industry is a very large industry. Flow plate. Everybody, house, home, second home, offices, industries. You talk about commercial, mass housing, residential, etc. They're all part of the whole ecosystem. So it depends upon what you're looking at. So what is being looked at is, in terms of the trends, are that you need something which is very minimal in nature. Yeah. And minimal in nature means very simplistic in nature. That's for sure is a trend needed. Yeah. And be as much as part of nature. Any houses there, we make a lot of courtyard in the center. It's like a big garden forest in the house. Imagine you have a big forest within your living room. Yeah. Your living room is looking into the forest, your bedroom is looking into that forest, you have a kitchen also looking, a dining also looking. Imagine how it is looking. Yeah. You love that place. Yeah. And why not? And why not have the nature within you? Today we have all that at part and parcel of that, idea. If people have that land and then put that, so I making my own house and I'm looking at multiple courtyards. Yeah. I'm designing one courtyard, which has these birds. Make your own forest and put birds into it. Yeah. So not really buying birds and putting it. So it's about just rescue birds and etc. So these kind of things.
And what role does technology play in streamlining our operations? And like you were discussing about AI before, will that be a game changer?
See, eventually we'll all lose our business. Eventually, this is going to happen. People believe or don't believe, but this whole thing will come so fast that they will not even realize. When Uber came, nobody realized that 150, 200 years old, 100 years old taxi will just disappear in few times. Kalipili taxi just left. Correct? How? We blink of an eye just went. Uber came, Ola came, etc. Yeah. Similarly, every field is going through these difficulties. Restaurant with these kind of a Swiggy and Zomato coming in. You think the restaurants are doing well? It's terrible for them. Yeah. Because that loyalty of customer is not there. Today, in my house, if let's say we used to go to a restaurant, we all used to go to, oh, we like which place, we like this place, we want to eat dosa, we want to eat, let's say, Chinese today, or we want to eat pizza today, etc. So that culture used to be there. We all used to go, everybody spent time there, etc. Today, in that same house of 5 people, all of them wants different. Somebody wants pizza, somebody wants South Indian, somebody wants this, and they'll order all this. Correct? So, but then this has put more pressure onto that, restaurant, because it's not his value base is not there. Today what are you looking at in terms of these apps? You're looking at cost. You're looking at faster delivery. Okay, yes, quality is there. You think that, oh, I see the rating, the quality is there. Yeah. So, let's see, it's similar like that everywhere. Eventually, the lawyers will lose, doctors will lose, architects will lose, the professionals will lose. Everything you'll get part of AI. Yeah. I want you. The only thing you have to say in your phone is, I'm not feeling like this. What should I do? I give you a list. What is the probability? What is the possibility? And this is only going to get better and better and better. Yeah. So then that means you go less to a doctor. What will the doctor do? Now what do I have to charge more because there are lesser patients? Correct? So that's how it is. So, similarly, somebody is going to say in one time, I need a good house. This is my size of the plot. And then it's ready. Then why will they call me?
And like we were discussing about the sofa before, so are expensive materials really worth it, or can budget friendly alternatives make it just look equally good? I mean,
So this is, I just gave you a small example. And yeah, obviously it does, So you can, for every budget, there is innovation. Correct? For every budget, there is an innovation. That's how you can sell. Why you go to a shop and then you look at, let's say you go to a shop to buy a sofa, you go to 10 shops to buy one sofa, because there is one sofa which stood out to you and you liked it, and you think it pleases your character, or it's your character. That's how people choose. You know that? I'll give you a small example. Yeah. You choose something which you think is your character. Yeah. So that means you think, oh, this is what I feel is me. People don't realize this, but when you look it into depth, that's how it is. So for every budget, there is something like this. Yeah. So there's always innovation at every stage.
and how are smart home technologies changing the way architects design homes?
See, smart home is part and parcel of tomorrow's technology. Yeah. That means I can control my home wherever I am. My security, my cooling, my energy, etc. So smart home is cheaper every day. So what was available last year is cheaper today because the technology has become more common and more people have started making it. So smart home is tomorrow. You will be able to control your house from wherever in the world you are. It's today's technology itself there. I just made a friend's house, and he is in somewhere in Europe, and I want to access to his house. I just send him a message, open the door. He opens the door from Europe. He doesn't, he's not here. Nobody's here. His mates come, they send him a message. I'm going to come for so and so time. They pre-open the door for them at that period, and only his, her, or his thumb can open at that time. This technology is very cheap today. It's just a couple of thousand. Yeah.
And what are the biggest mistake customers are making when they're integrating smart home technologies?
See, I cannot say biggest mistake. I would say that don't spend too much of money into it. Yeah. Find the best possible option at a cheaper price. A lot of people spend too much money into it and then realize in next year is just 1/10 of the cost or 1/2 of the cost. Yeah. So don't go for extreme today, which is the most expensive. Go for something which is adaptable, because it keeps changing.
How should an architect market himself or herself?
Market? No, everything is about marketing today. Everything is about sales. How well you sell your product, your idea. So what does an architect do? He sells his ideas. Yeah. So he should be able to sell his idea in a way, and he's always selling. Younger architects always tell him, you're always selling your ideas to somebody in the same industry of experience of your age. Yeah. So that guy he thinks at you and says, what are you talking about? I've worked in this field more than your age, and you're telling me how to do it. But then that's how things are. That's how you should be outsmarting your client to explain him why your idea is better.
Is there any specific marketing tool which they should use, or does word of mouth only generally help?
See, it's today's everything is marketing. Everything you talk about, everything is Insta, YouTube, Google, and you say that everything is there. Yeah, spend a lot of time in terms of all this.
If someone wants to start their own firm now, where is the biggest opportunity in this industry?
No. All India is very bright for next 10 years, 12 years. We have a lot of things to catch up to the world. Yeah. So every field is everywhere in this field is bright for the next 10, 12 years.
Okay. And what are the most common misconceptions clients have about interiors of architecture?
Most common misconception is they think that to make the house brighter, you have to use lighter colors. Okay. Yeah. The most common misconception that is, it's not true. Okay. Yeah, it's not true to use lighter colors to make the house brighter. My house is dark. People love it. My office is dark. My entire office is black. Yeah. People come into my office, they love it. Yeah. It's black. Tabletop black. Walls are dark grey. Everything is black. Yeah. And if I have to sell that to people, it's too much of black. The office will look very dull. No, not true.
And how does the interior design affect our mood, productivity?
Very much. In fact, your surrounding really build your mood and tempo. So anything that you are surrounding is not appealing or is not your character. When I said you pick up furniture, your character. Yeah. So something that you've not picked up your character is not appealing to you. So that affects your mind, your calmness.
Do colors impact our emotions?
Everything. Colors, texture, volume, if the room size is too small, it is unappealing. Sometimes, yeah, it is. Everything does.
What's the most bizarre request you have received from a client?
Every day is a bizarre thing. So, if you ask me, every day is a bizarre. Yeah. So a lot of things are very bizarre in my life. So I think I don't want to pinpoint something. But, yeah. I'll tell you, I've done a house in Delhi. Yeah. We spent 15 years back. We spent, it's a 25,000 square foot. Very upscale. I don't want to name who is. Very, very big name. We spent 6 crores in building the building, and he spent 120 crores for the interiors. I was doing a hotel at the same time. 250 room hotel I was doing. I had the same budget for that 250 room 5-star hotel. Yeah. So imagine the amount of money they spent in that interior, and they have not spent in the last 20 years. They must have not spent 3 months in that house. Yeah. So it's not there. This probably one of the houses in one of the cities. They've not spent.
So, say when an architect designs a home like that, and say, for example, just for calculation purposes, they spend a crore. So, out of that, how much does a typically architect make out of this budget?
Depends. We do at least 5-10%. Yeah.
Right. And have you noticed any design preferences across different regions?
Not really. It's our industry is more driven through what you feel is right for somebody. So there's no design preference as such. But then it's always every architect has his own style. He has his own style and design and ideas. That's what it resonates with his. You'll see similar kinds of things in most of his houses like that. Let's say apartments he's doing. He has this. You go to 1, 2, 3, 4. They may look different, but he has a lot of things in similarity. You can make out. Okay. Yeah, you can make out this guy has done these houses. Yeah, for even common man. So it's about the architect's character also that reflects.
Is there any subtle design element which can make a small space look huge?
Yes, there is whole lot of things. That's what my aim has been always in my life. How do I make this space look much bigger than what it is? Yeah, lot of things there is. I all secrets I can't tell you. But
Can you share some psychological tricks which architects use when they're talking about their space?
I'll tell you the best psychological trick architects use is, they use such big words. I'm telling you, 80% of the people don't understand only what he says. Yeah, he talks about some real big volume and this, that, and juxtapose, etc. I don't know what people use, and then 80% don't understand. They say, okay, just make my house nice. That's it. What I need.
But what do you think is one luxury feature which everyone should consider adding to their homes?
What you should have is, when you walk into your home, look at the maximum time that you spent on. Generally people are back home, let's say at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening. And they're there at home till, let's say, 8 o'clock, 12 hours. Yeah. That's the amount of most people spend at home. Yeah. Out of 12 hours, you already spent, let's say, 7-8 hours sleeping. Yeah. All right. So you have another, let's say, 4-5 hours. So that 4-5 hours, wherever that you spend, you should be able to make sure that is your comfort time. Because when you're sleeping, you need a good bed, etc. and all that. All that is fine. But that 4 hours that you spend has to be that hack. Yeah. So you should know that, okay, he's going to spend here more time. Yeah. And then, I know, one of my clients, they spend, that's 4 hours that I'm talking about, out of which 3 hours she spent in that puja room. Yeah. Morning में 1 घंटा, दोपहर को 1 घंटा, शाम को 1 घंटा. Yeah. So that quality of her time, of her awakeness is in those. So you'll have to make sure that puja room is really nice. Correct? Yeah. somebody watches or is in the, they spend that 3 hours. Some people, entrepreneurs and all that, they spend time in that office space or den where they work. Yeah, spend that quality time there. Some people watch TVs, make sure that the living room or the TV room is nice. Yeah, like that.
Do you believe in Vastu?
Yeah, I believe or no, but all my clients believe. Yeah, so I'm a Vastu expert.
What is the strangest Vastu request you have received?
Every day is stranger than the last. I've made such a beautiful house in Chennai. Yeah, such a beautiful house in Chennai. But the problem is that I did not enter from the main gate. I have to enter from behind. Yeah, the whole kitchen is on the main side where I have all the gardens and all that. Yeah, now imagine how bizarre. I don't know what to do, how to convince. Yeah, you know, but then that's how it is. You'll have to live with this kind of nonsensical, sense that people wants to keep. Yeah, a lot of people tell me it's the best, etc. Fine, it's suit yourself the way it is. It's still, yeah, I don't really believe myself, but yeah, but then people believe I have to, you know, provide what they believe.
What are the usually top three Vastu principles which usually people follow for their homes?
Vastu principles are entrance, kitchen, bedrooms. How these are 4 5 areas that they are very particular about. Yeah, how do they enter the house? Where they enter from? Where the kitchen should be? Where your master bedroom should be, etc. These are all principles that is there, and there is no more deeper things in that. You can go to any different areas in this. I know one house I made where I've been told that you. So they gave me, how much time will you take to build this house? I said, let's say I'm taking a year, 6 months. So he gave me the first 3 months, the time of work you can do based on the Vastu principle. I said, what nonsense? I said, you tell me, let's say Wednesday, I can do work from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock no working, and 6 o'clock to 7 I can work. I said, what kind of I said, what is this? What is this happening? Yeah, so you can get into any extent, and it's all about belief again, right? Okay, now we did everything, all the things are done. All right, everything, he was happy with the house. It took me twice the time to make it. All right, and then some big losses happened in his business. After a year and 2 years, I met him. I said, what happened? He said, I spoke to my Vastu guy. He said, you must have put a Kila in that non-timer. I said, no, okay, now what can I do? Your business is not doing good. Now tell me how more cynical this can be. Yeah.
So, how is having achieved so much so far? What does success mean to you now, and how has it changed over time?
No, a success means to me now is the quality of time I can spend for myself and my family. Yeah. That's what I say is for most successful people. Yeah. Is the quality time they can spend with their family and themselves. Because that's what is not available. Yeah.
And what's a personal habit or routine which you have established to stay creative and productive?
Yeah, I told you, like, creative is I spend 1 hour to 2 hours, even sometimes 3 hours, just to learn new things, new technology, new things. What is affecting? What is the new thing which has come in? What is the new ideas that can come through? What is the way? What is a new color? Let's say 1 week I studied is, what are the colors that I can introduce now, which will make this room look creative, better, looks nicer. It's never been used. Can you imagine if I can do that for a week, and then it sticks to my mind. Okay, I can use these things. Yeah.
If you could go back in time, Would you do anything differently?
Yeah, a whole lot of things I could do differently. Go back in time, and I wish I could have spent a whole lot of time with a lot of my clients. I wish I didn't have to. Eventually, it just didn't give me a better product. Yeah, didn't give me my value of time. The product was not good. Eventually, it's a waste of my time. Yeah.
What's the best entrepreneurship advice which you have received?
The best advice, yeah. So the best advice for entrepreneurship is that uh, things will get better tomorrow. It's not. You have to plan for tomorrow to make sure day after is better. Yeah. Plan for tomorrow and day after is better. A lot of people today I'm very selective about projects. I selective about my clients whom I take because it's my time and my value of time that he gives me. The moment I see that he doesn't value my time, I know that it's waste of my money. Yeah. So the moment I see this, I just drop my projects. I don't do it. Yeah. Which in my initial days of my life, I know that I've done a lot of this thing. I knew I've taken a project when I knew that probably this is not valued to me and I wasted my time and money. Yeah. Now more selective. So I know more, yes, I should work for him, I should not work for him, I should be okay. I should be selective.
Is this also a mistake which probably others can learn from? That
They should, in fact, yeah. It's something that you should always learn. People don't value your time and ideas. They're not worth the project. Eventually, you're not happy with it. When you're not happy with it, why you're not happy? Monetarily also you're not happy. You're not happy with the time output. You're not happy with the output. So why time? Why gives time?
if not being an architect, what alternative career path would you choose?
I don't know. I keep thinking myself. I said, why did I take architecture? The first. I don't know what would I have done if I've taken that.
So you don't have any alternative career in mind.
I have no idea about alternate. I don't know anything about other than that.
What's a dream project which you have not yet worked on, which you would want to work on?
I'm planning my house as second house, which I want to make my primary house. Yeah. So that is one of something that I want to really work on, something which is next level of house. There should be no house like that where I'm on the looking to work on that.
How are you designing it? How are you personally designing it?
It's different. Every room is different. It has many courtyards, butterfly gardens, birds garden, tropical forest, all within the house.
Where are we getting this kind of space in Mumbai?
No, it's not in Mumbai. Okay. It's outskirts. Yeah, villa. I'm talking about. Okay, so like that.
What's a fun fact about this industry which people don't know?
And it's full of entertainment. Yeah, everybody calls you to have wine and cheese. Okay. Yeah, everybody calls you to wine and cheese. They want to sell the product. They want to sell it through wine and cheese. Yeah, it's good fun to have wine and cheese.
So this almost brings us to the end of the podcast. Do you have any parting words for our viewers?
I'm telling you, whichever field you are, whichever this thing you are, all right, the only way you can be one up is creativity and adaptation. Yeah, adapt to technology, adapt to ideas, adapt to people. Yeah, and they will love you. Yeah. So what I told you in beginning, what is business? Is about doing work for a profit. Right. So doing work means adaptation, yeah, to ideas, adaptation to the problems. The moment you adapt and know their problem, you'll able to solve the problem. How did Uber begin? How did Uber begin? He waited for a taxi that he called and didn't arrive and didn't know what to do. Yeah. He said, now I want to make an app which I can solve this. That's how he started. Yeah. How did Amazon come up with this selling this thing? He said, how can I solve the problem of people not going to the store and just sit on the bed and order? That's his idea. That's it. See, look at this ideas which simple. He resolved the problem at what a magnitude of scale for everybody. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for inviting. A great pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for watching this episode till the very end. If you found this episode to be valuable and insightful, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, as your support will help us grow and bring you more insightful conversations. Please also share your takeaways from this episode in the comment section below. We are inviting entrepreneurs from all walks of life. If you or someone you know would be interested to be a speaker in our podcast, then please fill the Google form as seen in the description below. We will reach out. Thank you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.